Hello, everyone. We are back. We are previewing another Peterborough United game of football. I am joined by Charlie this week. And Chaz, it's only been 3 days, hasn't it, since the Stevenage game? Any changes on your thoughts?
Not really, to be honest. I have the same sort of frustrations about the fact that we struggled to score and struggled to create, and the same pride in, Mendonca's performance, for example. We've seen that great clip going around from behind the goal that the FL have been putting out of those goal line clearances that he made, and really good. I'm really, pleased with him and proud of the academy for that. But overall, frustrated because it would have been, a very easy game to win and or at least get a point out of. And obviously the other thing that we hadn't really seen when we were recording the episode is a good view of that penalty incident right at the end. Stonewaller for me, absolute stonewaller. You can't get the wrong side of a player and pull them down. And you know what? Really annoying that it's not been given and the referees, had such a terrible view of it, because if it's given and we get a 93rd minute equaliser in front of the away end with, that many fans there and that young team, it would have been a great lift. A point would have felt like a win, in my opinion, if we'd scored late on in that game. So frustrated, definitely frustrated.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's the only thing for me when we do the car recordings is that we've literally seen absolutely nothing. The only other point of mention was obviously we said that Lisby dived, but apparently there was contact from the player and he sort of knocked his own leg. But who knows? The referee saw it as a dive. He got a booking for it. Let's hope that we don't see any of that tomorrow. With all that said, we've had Ryan on before. Ryan is from Huddersfield Town Fan TV, and he's going to talk us through what has been, well, a pretty weird sort of 3 months or 4 months since we last played Huddersfield. Ryan, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good evening to you both. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hope you're both doing well, and yeah, looking forward to the match tomorrow for sure. Yeah.
Well, first things first, Ryan. Are you heading down tomorrow, or are you watching from abroad?
Yeah, no, I'm not watching from. I'm not going to get the game tomorrow, but I'm not abroad. But yeah, and so yeah, no, I won't be going to the game.
Well, let's move on to the next question that I want to ask is talk us through the last 3-4 months since we played you and you won 3-2. Obviously, Lee Grant's been sacked, hasn't he? But to outsiders looking in, that does seem like a strange decision with yourself sat in the top 6 of the league.
Yeah, look, it's been from an outside point of view, it might seem strange that we sacked a manager when we're in 6th, but for me, and for many of this fan base, we've just kind of got to the point where it was just getting too much under Lee Grant. If you look at it on face value for what it is Lee Grant came here with no managerial experience, and the aim was promotion at the start of the season. So it was always a big gamble. I don't believe that we're in 6th because of him. We're in 6th in spite of him. Individual moments of quality from the players that we've got was down to that, in my opinion. You only have to look at our form against the top 7 in the current top 7 at the time when he was in charge, and we'd literally got 1 point because our approach was sit back rather than try and go for the win. And even when we scored a goal, we just sit back, and then for many a time we blew leads and stuff. So Lee Grant's incompetence to management was fraught for all us Huddersfield fans to see. Very toxic towards the end as well. A lot of fans calling for his head way before that, months before that. So yeah, it may seem like it's a strange season to us as fans, as Huddersfield fans. It isn't, because we just had enough of the same boring football, same horrible tactics, and also just such a terrible in-game management. The baffling substitutions and stuff like that. It just wasn't working. The players looked flat, the club was flat as a whole. The fans had enough. And yeah, I think I've kind of described that in the best way I can, really. But Lee Grant wasn't cut for management. And even if we had have got in those players, which I don't think we would have done if we had kept him, I didn't fancy our chances against any of the teams that we come against, because every other manager literally schooled him, and any team that we came up against. So I didn't have much belief going into the playoffs. But I feel like we would have dropped out of them anyway if we would have kept him, because he was taking us nowhere and he wasn't the answer to our issues.
Yeah, I mean, my question is it sort of a poison chalice, that role at the minute? Because obviously you had Michael Duff last season, who was is, by all accounts, a very decent League One manager, and he couldn't get a tune out of the supposedly amazing group of players. You've now had Lee Grant, who was very highly rated as a coach coming into the club. He can't get a tune out of a seemingly amazing group of players. Is it maybe time to admit that that seemingly amazing group of players aren't as amazing?
No, I really do disagree with that, to be honest with you, because I just feel like I understand what you're saying about managers that have come in the past, but I just think for me, yes, there's been very much questionable decisions from the board. We've had really tough times with this new one that we've had over the past couple of years, and being honest, the incompetency of the board members that he's had in with him and keeping them in for too long and things like that. So there has been really difficult kind of moments with this owner for sure. But so we've got Chris Markham coming to the recruitment team now. So the new guy, obviously, he was at Bolton before that, so he's got a bit of football experience. So yeah, but look, our squad. I think our squad. I'm not being bad, but I think our squad is really, really good. I just think the managers that we've had, I don't really think Duff was particularly the answer for us. I don't think he was a good fit for us. He talked about his previous jobs and whatever, but no, I don't think it ever really settled down for him here. And I just think the managerial choices that this board have gone with have been very questionable. So yeah, I do back these players. I think there's some that have kind of let us down a lot, but our squad has changed over the past 12 months anyway. So we let a lot of players go last summer. So it's a much changed squad to what we've had before. So I do think this squad should be, and this is what I say, top six. I think this squad should be challenging for the top two. And fortunately, Lee Grant was clinging on. We were just clinging on to a playoffs place, and we were always getting beat by the teams around us anyway. So it just wasn't going to plan, and it was just that's how I see it. To be honest, we should be challenging for those top two.
So Liam Manning's come in. Is it 2 wins out of 2 for him now? What are your thoughts of the appointment, and how has he started his life as Huddersfield manager?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting appointment when he came. And I think there was a lot of kind of, obviously, from his last role at Norwich, it went so badly wrong there. I was a little bit concerned, admittedly, when he came in, because I know it's only one job, and everywhere else he's been, he did very, very well. You know what I mean? But I just feel like when he's coming into a role where he's not done so good in his last job, it kind of just makes you feel a little bit like concerned. But look, I think Liam Manning has just completely transformed us. He really has. From the very first moment, I've really been impressed by what we've seen. 2 games, we've won both, 2 clean sheets, both with 10 men. And the tactics, so much better, so much more positive, looking to win games rather than just being very overly cautious like Lee Grant used to be. And I just think the positivity he brought with him, we can see what he's trying to do in the past 2 games. And, he's just given the players the freedom to express themselves out there now. And, simple, clear instructions as well. The organisation and structure is all to see from what we've seen the past couple of games. And yeah, I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen since he's come in. To say he's only been in the building 10 days and he came in when the fan base was flat, it was completely flat, toxic, and he's managed to lift not only the players, because the players look flat for ages, but he's also lifted the fans because and it's just been fantastic these last couple of games. So yeah, really, really impressed, really encouraged, and I feel like we've got a very, very good manager, and we've already seen that from him already. So I feel like we can really go for it now and really go on a winning run, and if not, get into those playoffs. Well, we're already in the playoffs, but I mean, secure our place in the playoffs and then see where that takes us.
Right, and I'm just looking back at your last 2 games, and I've just seen, obviously, Alfie May was sent off. He's done for 4 games, isn't he? And then against Bradford, you had another player sent off, didn't you? So they're both 1-0 wins. Obviously, no Alfie May tomorrow. And if I am correct, your other striker, and I'm going to butcher this name, Radulovic, is also injured. He went off injured at the same time that Alfie May got sent off. So is there any concerns? Obviously, only 1-0 wins. Is there any concerns that maybe the goals may not be flowing tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal. Is obviously we go into the game with one striker available, which is Dion Charles, who for me, look, he's a sort of striker that I say that he's a nuisance, but he can't seem to pass or shoot, as bad as that sounds, and he just can't. So I've got no faith in Dion Charles, to be honest with you, to get goals for us. I do think we've got goals from other areas, in midfield and stuff like that. And if we get a set piece, we've got some tall lads at the back that can come up and cause a threat. But yeah, it's not ideal. But yeah, it's just we've just had bad luck this past couple of days with May getting sent off, which I thought it was a ridiculous decision. And Radulovic, I can't even say it as well, but Radulovic got injured, and he's been playing well for this season as well. So yeah, it's not good. And we need a striker in, but we haven't got a chance to get one in before we play you guys. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was fully expecting your appeal of that red card to be upheld because, yeah, it looked like a silly decision to me. I don't know, I think it was just a complete freak accident from some guy's hair flying about in the sky and Alfie May accidentally catching it in his hand. How has your January transfer window gone so far then? We saw, obviously, that you had Ballymumba on. We had a Plymouth fan on just as the time of that move was going to talk about that. How has he settled in? I also saw you sign Cam Humphreys. How is January going for you guys?
Yeah, obviously it's kind of started off quite bad, obviously, with losing Castledine, who was just fantastic for us. We loved him around these ways, even if it was for a short period of time. Gutted to see him leave. But obviously, we brought in Cam Humphreys, who I think is a good replacement. I think he's shown what he can do at this level. With Wickham as well, so I think it's a good signing for me. So I'm happy with that. And then like I said, Ballymumba coming in. So yeah, I was a little bit thingy about that one because obviously I know that we know how good a player he is, but obviously he hasn't shown that form that he showed at the start of his Plymouth career for a good while. And a lot of Plymouth fans were quite happy to see the back of him, which isn't a very good sign when that happens. When fans are happy to see him go. But look, I think he started the last couple of games. He's not looked the best, but he has done a few good things. But yeah, I mean, we just hope we can get him back up to form. In terms of other signing, obviously, we brought a new goalkeeper in. We've obviously had number 2, obviously. But yeah, it's been all right. But the reality is now we desperately need to finish this window with a striker. And that's how I see it, because if we don't get a striker, then it'll be disappointing.
Ryan, thinking ahead to tomorrow, obviously it's been 2 home games for Liam Manning, hasn't it? So this will be his first away game. Do you think that there's going to be any change to the Huddersfield setup? And what can we expect to see from a Liam Manning Huddersfield Town?
Yeah, no, I think Liam Manning we've already seen the past couple of games, he loves continuity in his starting lineups. So obviously there'll be unforced changes. There might be a tactical kind of a switching formation up, with the 1 up front rather than the 2 that we've been playing recently. Because obviously we've just got no striker, so we have to go with 1 striker now for this game. So yeah, I mean, in terms of a Liam Manning side, yeah, look, I think certainly from what we've seen is we see a style of play where he's really solidified that back line. And we've seen that. We've come under pressure in moments in games, but the structure, the shape of our team stays the same. So it's really drilled into the lads, a real shape and you know what I mean, and real organisation in there. Also, going forward, I think it's very positive. We do like to go for, very forward, very positively, and just kind of press. I think it's very much a variation type of football as well that we play now. It's not the over-reliance of playing out from the back. We're happy to do both. We're happy to go long. We're also happy to play out from the back. So I like that variation we've seen from Liam Manning over the last couple of games since he's come in. So yeah, I just think it's very much attacking front foot, and also defensively, he really is keen on that as well, and he's shown as well in the midfield as well. Looks a lot more better. So everything just looks better, to be fair. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Really.
Yeah, well, doesn't sound very promising from a Posh perspective then. Solid at the back and good in attack. That's not what we want to hear. What are you expecting from Posh tomorrow? Obviously, we're under new management since we last played you. Are there any players that you look at in our squad and think they could cause us a problem, or any problem positions on the pitch for you that you think we could exploit?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's been really, really impressive for you guys, hasn't it? Obviously, with Williams coming in, and obviously, look, you were struggling down that relegation zone. Now you're 10, so that's big credit. I think he's got like a 58% win record as well since he's come in, which is no mean feat. So he's done fantastically well to climb that table to where you are now. In terms of players that I like from you guys, I think Harry Leonard I really like Harry Leonard. He's a very, very good player, leads the line as well. And yeah, look, he's obviously your top scorer. So yeah, I like him. I really like him. I think certainly somebody that we need to keep an eye out on and just keep defensively solid, because if we switch off, he's gonna punish us for sure. Also, Archie Collins as well. I think he's a good player in midfield. Obviously, he likes to create his real creative spark for you guys. Obviously, he's the top assist maker this season so far. So he's another one. And then your goalkeeper as well is really good, isn't he? In terms of his just having a look on online. Obviously, I've done my preview already. His overall rating across the season is the highest of any player in the squad. So that shows he's a very good keeper. And yeah, so that's a couple of players for you that I like, to be honest with you. And I think it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. And I mean, we're going to have to be at our best if we're going to get anything, because I think that, yes, you've shown quite inconsistent form yourselves over the past 5 games I've seen, but you're still capable of getting a win as well. So yeah, we have to be wary of that. But yeah, that's my couple of players. In terms of areas for you guys to explore, I think I already said about Ballymumbers had a bit of a slow start to his town career, to be honest with you. And in the last game, obviously because he plays on that left-hand side, obviously as a wing back, there were a couple of balls over the top that he just completely lost his mind. It's just, and it was obviously on his side. So yeah, he seems to lose a little bit of focus. And yeah, look, I mean, in terms of other areas, I think that we look very much solid across the park, apart from that area, to be honest with you. I think striker is an issue, but certainly back our players to score in midfield, because we've got some good quality in the midfield. So, yeah.
Ryan, just a couple more things from us. Do you know how many Huddersfield fans are making the trip down at all?
I'm not actually sure, to be honest with you. I know it's pay on the day, so I don't know how much you're away in tolls, but I don't know. I haven't heard a number of how many we're bringing down.
I think it's about 1,600 these days, so you probably sold around the 1,000 mark, I reckon.
I reckon so. Yeah,
in a second. And then just finally from yourself, a score prediction, please. And if you think that Huddersfield Town are going to score, your first Huddersfield Town goal scorer would be ideal, please, Ryan.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, look, like I said, I'm feeling confident for tomorrow without feeling overly confident, of course. But no, I think that the momentum is with us, and I believe that that'll help us get the result. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to fare with obviously Liam Manning's first away game. So how will he approach it and all that stuff? But I believe that everybody has confidence. The fans, the players have had massive confidence over the last couple of games as well. So I think that'll help. So yeah, my score prediction, I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for us. And my first goal scorer is going to be Marcus Harness.
That sounds like absolute nightmare fuel, that does, Ryan. If I'm being totally honest with you, a 2-0 loss at home. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow if that's how it's going to play out. Fingers crossed it doesn't, though. And as I always say to our opposition guests, I hope you have a terrible Saturday. And between 3 and 5 o'clock, it's absolutely awful for you. And just before you go, somebody did ask, what do you think of Huddersfield chances of staying in the top 6 now that you've got a new manager in?
Yeah, I certainly feel a lot more confident of staying in the top 6 now. We've got a new manager. I know The problem is, though, we are relying on other teams below us to actually to drop points as well, because obviously they've got games in hand on us. So again, that's another thing that we didn't kind of mention earlier about, yes, we're in the top 6, but other teams have got games in hand. So yeah, look, I feel like the past 2 games, anything to go by. I think we can be confident that if we can keep, that we can stay in that top 6. For me, I'm confident.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ryan. Like I say, I hope you have a terrible Saturday, but I hope you have a great rest of the season. Although if you could just get up to 5th, that would be good, because I'm trying to reserve the 6th spot for Peterborough United in the playoffs, and hoping we can get back to winning those. But thank you very much for joining us on this Friday evening, and we'll see you. I don't know. Yeah, am I brave enough to say we'll see you next season, or we'll see you at Wembley? Who knows?
Thanks for having me, though, guys. I appreciate it. And,
if we're both at Wembley or we're both in the playoffs, I'll drop you another message.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's fine. All right, see you later. Take care.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cheers, Ryan. Oh gosh,
right,
not made me too confident. That not made
negative Nigel Fridays. Jesus. Oh man. Normally you feel either excited or devastated, and here we are, Friday night, devastated.
The thing is, though, Nate from the Stevenage pod, he was very negative and they beat us. So maybe positive fans, maybe it's just best as a football fan to just be constantly pessimistic and just think you're going to lose every week, and maybe thinking you're going to win is the worst way to be. We all thought we'd lose at Wickham, we won. We all thought we might win at Stevenage, and we lost. So I think we're going to win tomorrow, so I think we're going to lose then. There we are.
Yeah, great. Well, I think three hosts. We'll do that later, but I'm sure that 3 hosts have predicted losses. One thing that I tell you what my favourite insult is football managers being called PE teachers. It's literally an all-timer insult. Let's not hang about, though, because I can see our Peterborough United guest. She's eagerly awaiting. I'm going to pull her up on stage and she's going to tell us all about Peterborough United. Jenny, good evening. How are you?
Hi. Good, are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Obviously, we were going to do last Friday, weren't we? But we had to delay a week. So let's first and foremost talk the Smart Solutions New Year's Mixer and how that was for you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great turnout, which I was really pleased about. And it's all about raising money, isn't it, at the end of the day, for the Posh Foundation, the Free Kicks Foundation. And me getting some lead generation for the bits I sell as my day job. But yeah, it was great trying to raise a bit of money. But you were a bit tight, if I'm honest, Ashley. You were my banker for spending dough. Where did that happen?
Leave me alone. I literally bid on all of the things that the problem is, we discussed before we went live. Squad signed shirts, everybody's got those. I need more, like the Ronnie Edwards one was a good one, but
with a signed program with it.
Yeah, but the guy wasn't speaking loud enough for me, so I think I missed it. That was my problem. I didn't know what I was bidding on half the time.
That's such an excuse. Terrible excuse.
I stood there, obviously posing, holding church, main character energy as usual. And I'm thinking, as they started selling one of the squad signed shirts, I thought this ain't going up very much. And the auctioneer said something like, "Oh, you want one of these, don't you?" I thought, no, fuck no, I've got them. I don't need them. Oh yeah, go on there. Yeah, 80 quid, shit. All right, yeah. Go on then, just spend all my money, why not? Do you want this as well, Jenny? Yeah, why not? So as usual, I spent money, but who cares? I do love a bit of signed merch. I don't know where to put it. I mean, what do you do with all yours, Ashley? Is it hung up? Is it out? Is it stuck in? Have you got hundreds of little blue boxes in your wardrobe like I have?
Yeah, exactly that. Lots of blue boxes and lots of match-worn shirt boxes that are in tubs, keeping the dust away, because there is not enough wall space. Yeah, there is There's not enough wall space.
I'm a sucker for them over and over.
You said that you didn't want to ask me to ask you this question, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Go on then.
When did you first start supporting Peterborough United? And give us a little bit of a brief history of your support of Peterborough United and how that's been for you.
So I normally avoid this because, like, my best friend will tell you that I've only been a fan for 5 minutes. But I think when I moved back up here, which was 2017, it might have been a little bit before that, but that was when I really became a Posh fan. Because at the end of the day, I've not really lived around Peterborough. So I grew up as a Liverpool fan because my dad's a Scouser. Moved down to London when I was 21, something like that. And then when I came back up, because I live near the ground, my mate Laura dragged me there because she's always been a Posh fan, and I thought I like this actually, and so yeah, ever since then, and fully committed since then. You know, buy anything, go to as much as I can. I've been pretty crap this season. I haven't been to an away game yet this season, but on the whole, I go about, do what I can.
Good to hear. And it's nice to hear that the club sort of, a lot of people are born into supporting a football team, aren't they? Just sort of, they're born and they're like, right, well, my dad supports this team, my mum supports this team, so I'm this. And so it's nice that you found Peterborough United rather than Peterborough United finding you in a way.
Well, if we went down, who does your granddad support? Who does your dad support? My granddad is actually Gillingham, or was Gillingham. So, because a lot of my family, so my mum's all that way and my dad's up in Liverpool. I can't imagine why that relationship didn't last. But, I came out of it. What more could you ask for? So, yeah. So it's quite nice that he was obviously on the lower league, and I've got a few bits and pieces that he had written, and because he used to be a bit of a poet and all this sort of stuff. So I've got a few things that he's written about football, but it's all based around Gillingham, which is quite cute actually. That
is really nice. Going on to this season then, what are your thoughts on the season so far, Jenny? It's been a bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it?
It has, and I can't put a finger on why this season, but I've really struggled to find the love with it. I don't know why. Normally it would be, as soon as it must have been because we weren't doing very well, so that's why I wasn't feeling it. But even as we've improved drastically, and things, we're all looking at going, how is this the same team? I've still struggled with it. I mean, any excuse, like, bloody freezing, I'd stay at home and I watch it on. It massively makes a difference being able to watch it on the TV so easily, and that equally makes me a crap fan. But I've been watching. I've enjoyed looking forward to seeing where it's going to go. When Luke Williams first came in, I did, because my life is run by ChatGPT. I did the old, look, where are we going to finish now? And it said you're going to be now with your new management, you should be up there for playoffs. And I remember sort of thinking, and funny, isn't it? Getting there, I believe in it. To be honest, I'd rather us not be. I'd rather us finish 7th or 8th and then go for automatics next season. Rather than, I know, unpopular, whatever the phrase is. But yeah, the heartbreak of, I don't want to lose the run, do I, at Wembley and all of that. So yeah, I can't stand. I mean, I can't bear like Sheffield Wednesday again. That fucking nonsense we had. Can't bear it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of done with the playoffs. I agree with you, Jenny. Like, obviously, I want us to be in them, and I want us to get promoted every season, but. Yeah, to be fair, the Oxford one hurt me more than the Sheffield Wednesday one, purely because of how good that team was and how much of a travesty it was looking back that team didn't get promoted. I think under Fergie this season, I definitely lost the love for it as well, Jenny. The football was so boring. Do you think, that managerial change was the right time to get rid of him? He's obviously a club legend, but do you think it was a good decision?
I mean, obviously it was a good decision for it to happen. Was it the right time? Should this have happened ages ago? I can't answer. I don't know. I'm obviously glad it happened, obviously, but I do wonder whether we should have done it, at the beginning, sort of tail end of last season. I don't know. I know obviously the cup was great, but always is. But I think we've needed a bit of a mix up for a while,
Yeah, and I agree with you. It just felt like that sort of. I think that last bit of Fergie is just going to be an absolute blur from sort of January last year on, with Wembley in the middle. Just terrible football all round.
It's just like they just don't. It's just not the two same seasons, is it? It just doesn't. How are we watching? I was going to say great football at Wembley, but ultimately Birmingham, let's face it, does a massive favour because they did not show up. So that was a massive favour. But then obviously having just gone up and annihilating us a couple of days before was helpful for us, I think.
Yeah. It was a rough time, and I'm not surprised people fell out of love with it. I mean, if you look at the attendances, like they went down rapidly in that sort of period. Williams has seemed to bring a bit of the love back, though. Obviously, ChatGPT told you he'd be a good appointment, and ChatGPT seems to have been right so far.
I should have asked ChatGPT whether I should have come on this podcast and see what they said and let you know. Yeah, it definitely, and he seems like a really good, nice guy as well. Like, I'm sure you guys have been in the sponsors lounge before a game before, and when they do the Q&A with the managers, Fergie is. I mean, I've got a lot of love for him. Of course, I have. How can you not have? But he's notoriously hard to engage with. A Q&A, and that's all. It's quite difficult. Whereas Luke Williams, when I've been there the other week, was so different, just so much more open and. engaging. I don't know. It just carries a very different vibe. I can't really. Yeah, great answer, Jenny. Can't explain that either. But yeah, it's nice.
No, I'm totally with you. I've done the sponsors lounge, and although Fergie would normally like push back on the questions sometimes if he didn't agree with them, Luke Williams sort of takes, even if it's a bad question, he takes a bad question and he makes it into a good question with a really good answer. And I think that we see that in the interviews that we have post-match and pre-match, is that when bad questions are asked, he still manages to make it into a good question. Like that's the way that it is. And I enjoy listening to him.
Yeah.
Because of the way that he talks, and I feel like I want to listen to every word, which I think is probably a good time to mention that if you aren't aware, there is a fan forum with Luke Williams and Ryan Harley on Tuesday night next week at 7 p.m. You've got to buy
Did
tickets.
not know that.
£2. It's a £2 donation to the Tommy Robson Fund. You can get the tickets on the ticket website. But look, if Jenny didn't know it, then
A lot of us
here
won't
I
know
am.
it.
Here I am just doing Phil Adams' work for him, doing God's
Let's not
work.
Let's not go there.
Here I am.
Speaking of questions, I feel like Fergie's been there such a long time. I've been around the block so many times. He's heard every question, so he's almost like, oh God. I almost felt like he was stood there waiting for, right, come on, tell me who's the worst person you've ever had to train. Who's the best person? Who's the player that you always wanted but never got? It's almost as if you're stood there, not tired of it, because that feels a bit harsh, but almost like, oh God, now what shit question am I going to get? Luke Williams is clearly all quite fresh and new and might even be the first time he's had that question, at least from our room anyway.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I think my favourite Fergie highlight, God, there was too many Fs there, was when, Chaz, I'm sure that you were there, weren't you, for this? And potentially Lods and Harry, maybe?
Yes.
We were sat in the sponsors lounge, and this guy was sat on a different table to us, thank God, because if it was anybody on our table, I would not have been speaking to them ever again. And he basically asked, like, oh, when are we going to start seeing players from the academy playing? And it was last season. And I'm pretty sure that the team lineup had JD in, it had Harley Mills in, it had Ricky in. And Fergie literally looked at him and basically, Chaz, can you remember exactly what he said?
He basically said in probably slightly nicer words, not a lot nicer, but he basically said, "Are you stupid?" And then basically just went, "Have you looked at the team today?" And the guy was like, "Yeah." And then Fergie was like, "Right, so James Donnelly, Harley Mills, Ricky J. Jones, players from the academy." And the guy just started to go up. It was so embarrassing for that guy. But yeah, that was a highlight of it, because we lost 4-0 to Cobblers, so that actually was my highlight of the day. And then Otto was the post-match player as well, so we had to get our photo taken with him. So literally, that was the highlight, was Fergie pushing back on the academy players.
I almost think I'd pay to see a picture of Ashley stood next to Odo, to be fair. Like, how did they get you in the same lens?
Well, Joe Dent is a magician, and he worked it. I'll have to go back and I'll go back and find the picture. It'll be somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it is. Jenny, one of the questions that we've got come through in the chat is from Scotty. Don't be surprised by the name Fingers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. He would like to know who the best person is that you've interviewed or done content with at the club.
Oh, done content with? Oh,
I said what I said.
So leading, aren't you? Leading. Best. Matty G was pretty good. I've done some. We did some filming last month. Just before Christmas. And that's going to come out. Well, we'll wait for it to be edited, because I was dreadful on it, so I keep making them. No, cut that out, and crap, cut that out. So Matty was pretty good. The first time I did the quiz. PK was actually really good. He was really engaging the first time we did that. Harrison I always find quite difficult. He's got better as I've got to know him, because he's sick of the sight of me. But recently I've done an interview with Ian Crawford, which is out today. Over 2 hours of it if you want to sit and watch it. But it's what I liked about doing that was he was really, I don't know the guy, and I feel like not a lot of people do. So it was good to know things like a few little things about him and Dara. I never knew he was an ex-pro golfer. Some funny things about flying on private planes. How he COVID, and because there's a few stories about how he's made his money through COVID and that sort of thing. So that was really good. So it was really, I found him really relaxed and just open. Maybe because he's not massively in the front line of everything, is he? Not like Dara, who's obviously the face, if you like. He's a little bit behind, but that was really interesting. But it's almost like at the first time I've done most content with most players, they're a bit frostier, and then it's almost like I think I'm what pile of shit I'm to deal with now. And then because that must be difficult for a player. You know full well that part of your contract is doing some kind of content with sponsors, but you must have to do some shit. And you finish doing your training, you just want to go home, and you've roped into some shit interview with me, or me trying to do a quiz. And because the one we've done at the moment is about different icons, so it shows loads of children's characters, and they've got to try and guess who they are, and they ain't got a clue. And so that's quite interesting. But varies really on what you like. But Ian's obviously was a good one, but PK was probably. It's funny. I think this was the thing with PK for me, and it shows. I've never found PK was brilliant on the pitch, right? But as a captain off the pitch, I thought it was brilliant. And part of this, and I think people forget that when he's come back now, is that he wasn't amazing on the pitch at all, but what he was great at was being a captain. But he's not living around here, so he's not around all the players. But you could tell the experience with him I think it was like 23 when I met him. The experience with him, even just engaging with us as sponsors, just showed his maturity amongst some of the others that I've spoken to. Because at the end of the day, you're talking to 22-year-old boys, which is not easy. Believe it or not, I don't do that every day.
Yeah, I mean, that is sort of the thing we forget, isn't it? Like, I sometimes forget it myself. Like, I'm 18, nearly 19. And when I look at these players, I think, oh, God, these guys are so much older than me. But actually, some of them, like, were in my year at school or, like, the year above me. And I need to start realizing that now, that some of the maturity on display from quite young men is quite impressive at times in footballers. I wanted...
Go on, sorry.
I just wanted to say we had an interview with Ian last season, and he was great for us as well. Spoke about the women's team and the academy and all the infrastructure. And yeah, he's a very, very nice guy, Ian Crawford. Very nice. Sorry, I'll pass back over to you.
No, I agree. And I think the thing what I tried to do in this chat with him was try and talk to him about things that generally, it's difficult this actually, because if you're football fans, you want to know all about the football stuff, right? But also I think a lot of people ask those sorts of questions. So I tried to go around a different angle so people could find out different things about them. I did a chat with Jack Baldwin a little while ago, and I did a similar thing with him. Tried to talk about, I'll do all the obvious stuff, like how his route into football and the fear of it, career ending. Because at the time we'd just gone to Northampton, so it was like, traitor, that sort of thing. So as similar, try and do something a bit different with people, try and get a different conversation out of them. I've actually got another one with Lyle Taylor coming. When you go onto my website, you can do hardthings.co.uk. When you go onto that, it's got Ian Crawford's there. It's got a few videos of me because main character. And then the second one is coming soon, is part one of the one with Lyle Taylor, which is, they're both really interesting, actually. I would say that I did it.
Well, do you know what? There's an interesting comment, and it leads us quite nicely into what I would like you to talk about next. How does Jenny think Posh will climb towards the League One summit in the remainder of the season?
Stop it. Right.
Shameful plug. Here's your chance. Tell us all about it.
I'll take it. So this is a bit naughty, right? Because technically we're on a press embargo until Monday night. So when you approached me last week and said about coming on here, and obviously I was being awkward because I am. One of the other things is, I have been cast on a TV show. I filmed it a year and a half ago. ITV1, The Summit. Now there is an exclusive going out on Saturday that Ben Shepherd, because he's a host, it's going out in the mail. So there's a press embargo. No one's allowed to talk about it. But when they knew I was doing this podcast, I did ask ITV for permission. They said yes. However, they then said, let us know when it's going to be aired. I thought, I don't know when it's going to be aired. So I've just left it. So technically we probably shouldn't be speaking about it, but I'm happy to. Yeah, it was, amazing. The Summit was brilliant. It was, if you haven't seen the trailers, we went down to New Zealand. It's climbing a mountain, 14 of us. It was pitched to me when I applied for it as a cross between Traitors and Survivor. So I genuinely thought my biggest fear was going to be, I'm going to be on TV in a bikini, and I am not ready for this. Little did I know it was nothing like that at all. But it's a real roller coaster, and 200 grand up for grabs.
Quality. Well, fingers crossed for you then, because I assume you've already broken one embargo. I assume you're not gonna tell us whether you've won it or not. and you just sat
Couldn't
on
possibly
200.
tell you, you'll have to watch it.
200. Sat on 200k.
I think she wouldn't
honestly-
be with us here right now if you'd won the 200 grand.
Do you reckon? Bear in mind, well, so obviously, if you don't know, I was casting something else ages ago, but I was also on Squid Game: The Challenge. I do die in episode 1, so episode 1, yeah, it's very dramatic. But what I knew from that was, when you are cast on something, if you win it, especially reality type shows, you don't get the money until normally 30 days after the final has aired. So if I've won it, I ain't getting 200 grand until 30 days after. I could buy loads of signed shirts then. I could probably buy a couple of players for us. But yeah, so 30 days after the final episode. But we've got, so 10th of February, 9 p.m. ITV1, and Wednesday, the 11th of February, 9 p.m. the first 2 episodes.
Well, I'm
Drama!
excited to see it. I'll be there. We've got a celebrity in our midst, Ash. Tomorrow then, Jenny.
You've always had a celebrity in your midst. It's not my fault you didn't realise it.
So tomorrow then, Huddersfield at home, back at London Road after 2 very grueling games on the road for the team.
We're winning. And even listening to Ryan then reassured me even fucking more. I mean, we scored, hang on, so they've won 1-0 at home, the last 2 games, and neither of those players are even in contention. Where's the hell do you think not happening? The only thing I will say is Barley Mum was bound to score against us. That's a given.
Yeah.
Do you know? And now I thought, so is he playing left? I thought he was right wing back. Is he left?
I
the
don't
opposite?
think we ever played him in our. I think we played him in some weird and wacky positions when he played
Of
at
course
Posh,
we
which I
did.
think was one of the main
Of course
issues.
we did. Let's not play anyone in position. Let's just see what they can do. Let's get the most out of them somewhere different. But yeah, so I'm going 3-1 because I always go 3-1.
Well, you'll see in a minute, but great minds think alike, Jenny. Who's your first Posh goal scorer tomorrow?
Lisby.
Cairo Lisby. Well, there we are. That sounds like a very good day at the office for Posh. And if we do go on to win tomorrow, as you predict, tell me right now, yes or no, and you're not allowed to ask ChatGPT, are we making the playoffs by the end of
Oh
this season?
shit! Yeah,
Yes or no?
win or lose, don't matter. We're making the playoffs. I don't want us to. Let me put that out there. So either way, I'm winning, aren't I? So I don't want them to. But yes, I do think we'll scrape in the playoffs because that's what Posh. That's what the Posh thing, isn't it? It's what we do. Scrape it.
There we are. So you can do hardthings.co.uk for your interviews, the summit to watch you climb New Zealand mountains, and Smart Solutions on YouTube to watch your player thing with the characters.
Either go to, I will always repost anything that's on there. So on my personal stuff, which is obviously Cherry Sparkler, my LinkedIn is obviously Jenny Melling. But yeah, Smart Solutions Group. The problem is with Smart Solutions Group is a lot of our links are on my smart group, so it just gets a bit complicated. But I post a shit out of everything, so I try to get as much out there because I'm technically sales and marketing manager, so I need to try and get as much out there and make it look loved as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Jenny.
Well,
Thank you,
for
Jenny.
having me.
I've had a good time.
Good.
Wicked. You're at the game tomorrow, aren't you? So we'll see you there.
You're not going to see me, are you?
Why not? You come and join the GH Ultras.
Sausage. I will be sitting comfortably somewhere. I'm not inside. I'm not hospitality this time though, so I'll have some gloves or something stupid. But I am actually going tomorrow, so yeah, to watch us win, obviously. But if I see you, I'll wave.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Jenny.
I'm sure. Thank you. Cheers, guys. See you later.
Bye bye. Right, Chaz. We've got some comments to go through.
Yes, we do.
Where should we start? I am going to. Yeah, do you know what? You said that you were surprised that it didn't get overturned, but I was not surprised. Like, even if he didn't mean to, he's still done it. Simple as that.
Yeah, but
Red
what's the
card
red
offence.
card? Right, tell me laws of the game. I'm going to get really arsey now. Laws of the game. Red cards. You're looking at basically endangering an opponent, serious foul play, or violent conduct. Which one
Violent
is
conduct. There you go. You can't pull someone's hair.
But violent conduct needs violent intention behind it, or at least perceived violent intention. He's not even looking at the guy. He literally puts his hand
perceived
goes
it
up
as
in the
being
air
violent.
as you spin, as you normally spin. His hand goes up like that with his fingers out, and he doesn't like full grab a handful and yank. It's like his hair almost gets caught in his fingers. Not for me. I think it's very soft, very soft.
Do you think there needs to be a rule change so that players can't have their hair down, Chaz?
No. I just think like there was one where Cucurella's hair actually did get pulled a few years ago. That is violent conduct. But when it was just, it's an accidental thing. It's like it's not as if it injured the guy. Just play on. Like it's a foul maybe because he has pulled his hair, and your hair getting pulled does have a slight effect on your ability to play the ball. Agreed, but it's not a red card.
How would Chaz? Has anyone ever pulled your hair whilst playing football?
Well, the answer to that is no. But I'm sure I've had my hair pulled. I have a little brother, so I've had my hair pulled in the past, play fighting and stuff. So I know that it can impair your ability to physically perform. There we are.
Excellent. Interesting one from Mark Salt. Is Mendonca going to play tomorrow? What do you think, Chaz?
No, because I think both Nevitt and Lees will be back and fit, and I think they'll go back in. Mendonca deserves to keep a place on the bench, 100%. I was really pleased with Mendonca's performance, and he's another one that's going to really suffer from us not being in the trophy anymore, because he probably would have played lots of minutes in that, but he's definitely one for the future, isn't he? He'll be part of the first team squad full time next season, and yeah, what a great performance! It was a very complete debut, wasn't it? Fantastic.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think to err on the side of caution is that football works in like a level balance, doesn't it? And when you have high highs, there are then low lows. And look, Mendonca was fantastic for his first league start and all of that sort of stuff. I just think that I wouldn't want to expose him to what is potentially a low tomorrow if we were to go on and lose, depending on how confident all of the Huddersfield fans were. Chaz, looks like I just want to put this on the screen so that it's on record so that we can remember it. Jed Robinson has said that he is a Huddersfield Town fan in Sydney and he will buy us both a beer if we both make Wembley. So,
or was that to Liam? I worry if that was his name. No, Ryan. What was? Oh God, I've got such bad short-term memory. Was
Ryan.
That to the Huddersfield fan? Ryan. Yeah, that could have been to him because I doubt Jed's going to be buying us beers.
Why wouldn't he?
Soon.
Why wouldn't he be? If we both make Wembley, there's no point in him offering it to Ryan, is there? Because if they make Wembley, then he would have just said, if we make Wembley. So it's got to be us.
Let's have some clarification from Jed. Yeah, let's get.
Yeah, maybe he'll let us know. John, I just wanted to pull this up just because John tried to bid on the Poku shirt from the Cambridge game, the 5-0, and he didn't win it because I did, and it's currently sat in a box. It's not in a boot. I would never leave it in a car, that because you'd probably smash our windows in, John, to take it from me. But it's in a box in my wardrobe. Next up this is a good one. I think that it's being recorded, and then it will go out later in the week. This is to do with the fans forum on Tuesday night. Chaz, you've got a concerned face. Do I need to be concerned?
No, I'm just reading through some of these comments. I don't know who this was aimed at.
Do I think that I'd beat George? No, I don't. No, I don't. Do you reckon you could, Chaz?
Maybe.
I reckon I could beat George Nevitt to a header just because I'd just like muscle him.
There's no way I'd beat George Nevitt in a race. Literally. Unless he had to, if it was like 10 meters and he had to start with his back away from the track and I could start face on, I think his turning circle is one of his biggest weaknesses. So I reckon I could get a good 5 meters on him before he's even turned around. But yeah, no, I think anything more than sort of 20 meters and George Nevitt's absolutely cooking both of us, Ash.
Yeah, I think you're right. No, I'm not giving myself over 10 meters, even with my electric start from zero. Colin Spridger.
That's crazy, by the way, because I get literally told this is actually sucks because some people say, oh, I thought Charlie was 33, like smart ass Colin here, but then other people are like, oh, you look 12, so I can't win. I simply cannot get to a physical state where I look my age. I've tried.
Maybe Colin is a listener. And this is the first time, I know that Colin watches because he's in the comments every Friday night and we appreciate that. But maybe Colin is a listener and he just listens to you and thinks, oh my God, this guy's old. And now he's just putting a face to the name and the voice
I don't think
And
he is. I think Colin's trying to absolutely banter me. And Colin, mate, thought has a T at the end, pal. So go back to school, pal. Rafty says,
stop starting fights with bloody watchers and listeners.
Rafty says, hi from Ho Chi Minh City, aka Saigon. Big up, Raf. 3:40 a.m. And you know what? I actually wanted to pull up a comment from way earlier that we skipped over because I love this. You know what? I love that for some people watching us on a Friday night or whatever combination of Poshcast it is, it's like like something they look forward to and great start to the weekend. You know, that brings me a lot of joy. So thank you to Chris for that. To letting us know that we're an essential part of your Friday night routine, and Cadbury's chocolate, you cannot go wrong.
Yeah, next one I want to bring up is from David Brown, saying that he thinks that Luke Williams will be welcomed by Posh fans Tuesday as he's honest in his interviews. He gives credit to opponents and if they were better than us, and he doesn't make excuses. Now, do you know what? I'm just going to put it out there, because if Luke Williams walks in the room and Posh fans start clapping, I'm going to cringe. I will not be able to deal with that. That's like when people clap on a plane. Like,
no,
the guy's
it's not.
Yes, it is. He's just doing his job. Like, I'm going to go full Roy Keane. I'll just be sat there in the corner being angry. Like just doing his job.
That's like saying clapping the players onto the pitch is cringe.
No,
I see you do that every game.
That's motivational. Luke Williams doesn't need motivation to answer some questions from Posh fans, does he?
You don't know. I reckon being welcomed. Okay, what will be even more awkward is if Phil's on the mic and he goes, welcome Luke Williams, and then there's just a dead silence as the door creaks open. Williams walks. You hear his footsteps go along the floor, and then you hear him take his seat, and then inhale, and then there's a question asked. I'm sorry, a silence is even worse. Now, what will cringe me out is if the media team decides to give him some play on music, like a darts player. If he walks out and then you just say, I'm ready to go, that will cringe me out massively. But no, I can't clap him out, man. It's not that bad. I'll start the applause if I'm there. I will start the applause. So
I'm not sure I can bring myself to do it. I'm not sure. Here we go. Chaz, go on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, hairline reveal. Go on. Push your hair back. Go on. Show us quickly.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm embarrassed. By the way, going back to uni has been a stinker. I went back to uni on Wednesday night. Right, the amount of people that have gone like this and done pretended to put a ball under their shirt to me since I got back to uni has been outrageous. So I'm never doing anything clippable on this podcast again because it's just it's a sticky situation.
Stop! You're gonna set me off again.
What is this joke? What is this joke? I don't get it.
He makes it. Used to work in a pub, did you not?
I did, but specifically,
have you ever
Guinness?
pulled a pint of Guinness?
Not for fingers, I haven't. Kingston,
no, but you've not heard it. He's heard it from his sources, so you've not pulled it for Scotty, have you? But you may have pulled a pint for somebody that Scotty knows.
So I poured a good Guinness in the summer. That's not enough. He's commented that at least 5 times now. Get a new thing. Get your sources to find something else irrelevant out about me, Scotty. Kingston says, sometimes I wonder how Chaz is allowed to be a referee. Kingston, you better hope I never referee your team, mate, because if I know who you are, no decision's going your way, my friend. No decision's going your way. This is a bit freaky. This is a good question. Scotty versus Ash, 50-meter dash race.
It would be over. I would win that by clear lengths as well.
Do you reckon?
What is it that they use? Horses lengths. That's how they measure it, isn't it? So we'd have to use I'd probably win by 10 Ashleys, which is gut to back, basically, which is what that's about that much in it, really. So they're clear, absolutely clear. He's already bottling it, and I can see further down he's now made it 30 meters. That's how worried he is. And also, Scotty still owes me a £50 donation to charity. I would like to remind him. So when he makes that one, then we'll talk. This one from Kingston as well. Up the Poshcast Sports Day. Great summer content. Let's put it out there. That's a week sorted, isn't it?
I am so down for that. Get me on the egg and spoon race, and I will cook anyone.
John says that 33 is not old. That sounds like a man that might be 33 soon.
Yeah, mudded.
You should. Oh, this would be a good one. Yeah, you should rank the hosts in how old they act.
Let's not do that.
Will Jenny's content that Ashley mentioned earlier be available after the 9 p.m. watershed? Who knows?
Who knows? Jenny.
Who knows? Wombling. Cherry Sparkler on Twitter will tell you all about where her content is available, I'm sure.
Oh God. Now, okay, this is the issue with stuff, right? People take it way too seriously. Like, you don't have to clap your postman when next time he gives you letters. That's not what I'm saying. You know, that is a Roy Keane moment. You know, that's his job. But you know, walking in, you know, you've got an audience are there to see you and ask you questions. Walking in, you are the main attraction. It's polite to give someone a round of applause. Listen, I come from a theatrical background, as you can probably tell by how dramatic I'm being on tonight's podcast, and I just have to say that a round of applause to enter the stage or to enter anything, it just puts your mind at ease, makes you feel appreciated. Let's listen. Luke Williams has got a 58% win rate according to that Huddersfield fan. Let's show some appreciation.
Use his name. He has a name.
Fine. According to Ryan, Luke Williams has got a 58% win rate. Let's show some flipping respect. Oh, by the way, while we were live, this is such a random thing, but while we were live, you know, last week everyone was asking about Ruben Rodriguez. He's signed for Bolton while we were live, so there we are.
Today has he?
Yeah, literally in the last hour.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, that was never going to happen anyway. I think that was literally it's another player that's played for Luke Williams, right? That was all it was. Oh, this is nightmare fuel. Knee slide in front of Williams as he walks in. I can't knee slide. I wear shorts everywhere. I can't. I'm going to go nowhere, am I? All I'm going to do is just dig into the floor and just get a massive knee burn.
Even worse. Dig in and then just fall straight on your face.
Smash my nose. Blood everywhere.
Hi, Luke. Quality.
Yeah, look, there you go. Lods is cooking you. It's a nightmare when we try and record. Every time someone joins, Charlie claps.
I only do one clap. One clap. It's just a little right.
I
did.
Clap the NHS during COVID.
If you didn't,
wasn't it at 8 p.m.?
No,
it wasn't
I
at
think
6
it was
p.m.
a
Was
Thursday at 6. I swear, it was like 6, maybe 7. I don't know. It was between. Don't laugh at that. Stop it. It was about that time on a Thursday evening. But yeah, I was out there, started off clapping. You know what I didn't like? People started taking the mick. They started trying to outdo each other, didn't they? They were getting pots and pans out, and people had those things that you sort of spin around your head and they like make grating noises. That's when I was a little bit like, calm down. But the clapping, it was a real nice moment of community. And also, the only time that you actually saw anyone else outside of your house was when you'd go out to clap the NHS. That was the only time you were guaranteed to see your neighbours.
Yeah, you're right. No, this is more nightmare fuel. I do not need to be clapped into any room. I just like to say hello to people. So I think, well, we're not done, Chaz. We've got so ahead of ourselves here. We've not even done our score predictions. So I'm going to go and change the banner on the bottom. Here comes the ticker. There it is.
Here we go.
Reminder to all, please submit your score predictions for the Next Level Barbell Club Predictions League at www.uptheposhcast.com/NLBC-predictions-league. You know the score by now. I'll run through mine and the four of the hosts, and then Charlie can talk you through hers. And it's a mixed match this week. I think for probably the first time in ages, I've gone for a draw, 2-2. Harry Leonard, first goal scorer. Then we've got Harry, John and Lods all predicting Peterborough United losses. Harry has gone for Huddersfield to win 3-1, and John and Lods have both gone with 2-1 Huddersfield wins. Harry has Kyrell Lisby as his first goal scorer. John has Harry Leonard, and Lods has Cian Hayes. So I assume that he is expecting it to be a late consolation goal. And then Max has gone 1-0 Huddersfield, which, do you know what? It is not probably the most...
1-0 Posh.
1-0 Posh, sorry, yes. I've got ahead of myself there. Matthew Garbett to score is not probably one of the most out there predictions with Huddersfield lack of goal scoring options. Jazz, yours?
I went for 3-1. I went Harry Leonard. Time to get him to get back on the score sheet. I don't know. I just feel like we're going to score some goals. After they didn't perform on Tuesday night, I think we'll see a very fired up and ready to go. Matthew Garbett, Jimmy J's going to want a little bit of the action. Harry Leonard obviously hasn't scored for a few games. Whether we bring in a player on the right-hand side, Lisby obviously didn't have his best game. There's lots of players out there that will be wanting to prove themselves to the fans again and prove that, you know, the week was just a blip. And so, yeah, I think that. And also I think we're going to be a lot better, just more composed with, you know, a stronger back line, I think. Will be much better. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty confident. I think we'll win. And if we do, again, we fly up the table. I find it really interesting what one result does to the confidence of a fan base. It's crazy. Like, I feel like if we'd won on Tuesday night, so many people would be predicting different results, wins, you know. We were all predicting wins against Stevenage pretty much. So yeah, interesting that the Posh fans, the Poshcast hosts' faith has seemed to die down relatively quickly, but there we are. When we win again, they'll be predicting us to win against Wigan next week as well, so it's fine.
I think there was a comment earlier on that I didn't pull up, is that I think the only thing that will be positive about tomorrow is that Huddersfield are going to try and play football, which means that we'll be able to play football, right? Whereas you go to Stevenage, there's just literally no football on show at Stevenage. Like, do you know what? I would like to recap on their fans making out as if they were great on Tuesday. Like, that was probably one of the weirdest things. Like, what a weird experience that was, listening to them and seeing them on Twitter and socials talking all about how amazing they were and how they enjoyed watching the performance. Like, what?
They
Seriously?
They were shit. Like, they were terrible. That they, like, categorically were shit. The couple of chances they created, they didn't, you know, do much with, and they were very lacking in sort of creativity in the front third of the pitch. Then, you know, they were solid enough at the back, but we really didn't play very well. And then they scored from a set piece after our own goalkeeper was stitched up and then dribbled the ball out of play. Like, well done, lads. What a great performance. Honestly, if that is a great performance to Stevenage, then I'm sorry, but they are going nowhere this season, like, or any season. If that's, you know, a performance that makes you think, wow, we are so back. You know, that reminded me of, like, when we last season, in the middle of that turgid run in January, beat Wigan 1-0, and we were all like, yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but at least we got the win. Similar performance, and yeah, very, very bizarre. I know that they've, you know, had 3 wins in their last 17 games, I think it is, so can understand them clinging on to anything they have. But Stevenage fans, they're a weird bunch, and I was commenting, not even atting Stevenage or anything, but just commenting about the penalties. They were arguing with me. One of them tried to say, because the referee had a bad view, it's not a penalty. That's not how the world works. It was a penalty and the referee didn't see it. They were literally moaning about Lisby. Oh, just get on with it, man. You won a game. Good luck for the rest of the season. I guarantee we'll finish above them. 100%. I'm so confident.
Yeah, and I think that was what really annoyed me as well, is that they made out that they won the league when they beat us 1-0 at London Road. They've then given it the big one all week, but then they tried to quietly slip out the attendance from Tuesday night. And how embarrassing was that? Was it like 3,800 and like 1,300 Posh fans? 2,500 fans. Like, I appreciate that they struggle like we do with people supporting the London teams, but there's more than... How many people live in Stevenage? No idea. But let's say that there's 50,000. Probably that's nowhere near it, and there's way more. Chaz, you're going to... Go on, get on Google for me. Fine. Tell me how many people live in Stevenage. To only pull in 2,500.
91,000 apparently.
Yeah, to only pull in 2,500 people. Crikey. Toughest gig in football, that is, getting people through the door at Stevenage, clearly, because they are crap. The football's crap. And look, they've got a loyal supporter base, but it's going to go no further. When was the last time that they sold out again? Was it Luton, probably, at home, I would imagine? Bit of a grudge match for them because they see the planes fly over their heads, I would imagine. John, you might be right. Poor marketing, poor revenue officer.
Oh, let's not slag off Clive. Come on.
No, I enjoyed seeing Clive. It was good fun, wasn't it?
Oh my God, go away, man. This Lincoln fan in our comments every week. This guy, is seriously. You know what I'm going to say to Jake? I'm not even going to slag off Lincoln. I'm just going to say, you better hope you get promoted this season, mate. You better pray that you get promoted, because if you bottle it now from the position you're in, I promise you, every one of them League One things you do with nappers, I'm in the comments. It'll be 2035, and I'm in the comments going, Jake, you remember, January 2026 when you thought you'd won the league? You remember when you didn't get promoted and now you're back at the bottom of end of League One? Yeah. We're gonna, you better get promoted, Jake. If you don't, you're in big trouble, pal. Big trouble. Oh, you rattled me.
Yeah, are you right, Chaz? I'm going to go back a bit because we've missed Fleetwood Zach off Russ. So me and Scotty in a race, Zach and Michael Reed in the winner's face. I think that Zach's probably going to win that. Lods has then said that we need John versus Otto, Harry versus Kamara, Max versus Chaz. Chaz, do you reckon you stand a chance against Max? Max
Max would cook me. Oh my god. Max is like actually an athletic guy, and he runs like he does. Does he do half marathons or 10K? He like actually runs. When we went to the FCAs, me and Lods got to the hotel, right? 5:00. Max gets into the hotel room, puts on his running gear, and then goes for a run around Ellen Road for an hour, whereas Lods and I were down in the bar. That shows, the answer to that. Max would absolutely cook me in a race. I wouldn't even try it.
Yeah, and this was one thing because I think that Zach has then said that he would back Adebisi against John. Look, I tell you, there's one way to settle it. Let's just do Poshcast versus players. Let's invite Adebisi down to Power League to play John, and I'll take on Otto. Let's have it. There's your content for the summer. Once the season's finished and we don't have to worry about it, let's just do Poshcast versus players. Chaz, who would you like to take on in a 1v1, little bit street ball action?
The most egregious thing there was you saying that Otto is gonna be here in the summer. But yeah, okay. I would like to play again. Oh, who would I take on? You'd have to take Lisby.
You'd have to take Lisby.
I wouldn't have a chance against anyone. No, I love Lisby. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't put a tackle in on Lisby. He gets too hard treatment. You know who I would? The person I reckon I have the most chance against. Give me Will Blackmore and see what I could do against him. I might be able to get a goal or at least withstand pressure for like 2 minutes. But yeah, no, I'm getting absolutely cooked by any member of the Posh squad. But then again, we talk, they play, we slag them off. But I don't think any one of us would ever suggest that we could do what any of them do on the pitch. That's very much not where our criticism comes from.
Speak for yourself. I'm an excellent target man, and I've scored at London Road as well. I would like to.
So have I. Did you? Scored? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Don't did you me? You know I scored. I scored against Lods in goal. You were on the bench at that point, crying about your hamstrings. By the way,
yeah, I'd been done. I needed. Yeah. My hamstring went on the pitch at London Road. What are the chances? Gosh, I'm still recovering.
Anyway, there we are. Chaz v. Bilo, Sam Hughes, Tom Lees, all of these people. Barry Fry. I honestly think Barry Fry would have a chance against me. Yeah, he's too wily. He'd kick.
And we would be able to do it on a Sunday if Barry Fry was involved, wouldn't we?
Yes, because he does answer his phone on a Sunday, unlike these newfangled technical directors who don't. That's a reference back to the hard truth. I do worry sometimes that we make references that only you and I get, and like nobody else is going to understand them. But that was a reference back to the hard truth when Barry Fry was when Dara's argument to me saying, is Barry Fry still the man? Him being like, all these young technical directors don't pick up their phone on a Sunday, whereas Barry Fry and Ian Holloway do. So there we are.
Chaz, have you ever fallen over in a race?
We can't do this. All I'm saying is just look up Phil Adlam 100-meter dash versus 13-year-olds on YouTube, and that'll be your post-episode entertainment. Maybe
Lods can share the link.
Should we? Well, actually, this is a very relevant time to put it as the outro. Ash, if you've still got it available.
I've not got it. It's not in there. Oh. But I think it's on. I think it's on Chris Brewer's YouTube channel. If anybody wants to go and watch it, it's enjoyable. It's very old, think we're coming up to the 18-year anniversary of it. Who knows? I am not being involved in any of this salacious stuff. I'm calling it there. Chaz, are we done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Cool. I'm going to go and watch Derby versus Bristol City, I think it is, whilst I get the audio version uploaded. What does your evening hold, Chaz?
Back at uni, first Friday night back at uni. So there is there's a prees going on at a flat about a 2-minute walk from me. So I'll be going there. Apparently, there's a big Wii Sports competition going on with drinking punishments. So I'll be doing some Wii bowling. And then from there, straight into the club. So there we are. That's my Friday night.
Wii bowling straight to the club. Do you know what my favorite Wii bowling was? Do you remember when they used to, was it like that 100-pin one? And you used to like bowl and it was like a massive lane. Do you remember that?
Never seen that. I was very much traditional 10-pin. I love the baseball. Quite good at that. You know, had quite a good swing on me. I'd do all that stuff. But no. And the golf was quite good fun on Wii as well. But no, never did the 100-pin bowling. 10 pins. I couldn't even hit 10, so let alone 100. Yeah, that's not.
Well, if you just fill for 30 seconds, I'm going to find the 100-pin photo and I'm going to put it up on the screen. So if you can
Colin says no ID required for me at the club. Yeah, a 33-year-old Chaz pulling up to a club full of uni students. I hope that's not my life, but there we are. It might be. You never know. Who else is? Stevenage need a new badge to attract more fans in. Yeah. Fleetwood Zach says, Charlie, you're very angry tonight. No, I am very angry. You are correct. He will then send 30. Listen, it's not a student debt, it's a student tax. That's what I tell myself. You only pay it back if you're earning the money to pay it back. So if I, go and just waste my life, then I never have to pay it back. And guess what? The taxpayer does. So there we are. But I'm hoping I'll be able to pay it back over time. But there we are. I don't really have a lot else to comment on student finance, to be honest.
Right, Chaz. I've got the 100-pin bowling photo ready to pull up. There it is.
Oh
Jesus.
God.
Look at the pixels on that. Well, basically what you had to do is but you had to start like pretty much on the outside of the lane, and then you'd flick your wrist and then you'd take out that lead pin. The ball would ping off to the right, and there's your strike. It was absolute carnage, and it got very emotional as well when it didn't.
I can imagine. Wow.
Ooh,
I think we're done.
That's a good one. Yeah, maybe that's one. Maybe we'll get ourselves down to the next level barbell club and see what happens.
Well, listen, you see each other in the gym all the time. You may as well, make some use of that eye contact, Dash.
Yeah, I'll invite him down to the squat rack and see what happens. I can't squat, so I'd be in big trouble, but I can bench press. So, I just have to warm up my shoulders a bit. Right, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
we've been here long enough. Thank you to everybody that's watched, listened, commented, all that usual stuff. I have a great time on a Friday night. And Chaz, I have a great time spending my Friday night with you, but I've got a family to get to. That being said, my family, we will be in the GH tomorrow. It's looking like a busy one in the GH. E5 is already open and selling well. E3 and E4 already sold out. So, let's hope that the lads on the pitch can do their jobs, and we'll be applauding them off at the end of the night or at the end of the afternoon at 5 o'clock for just doing their jobs. Fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah, I can't wait to applaud the train driver when he gets me safely to Manchester tomorrow. Buzzing for it.
Make sure you drop off and go right past his window to let him know that he's done his job well. Up the Poshcast.
Up the Poshcast.